Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this week's episode of Cozy Art Club, the digital virtual art club where we have a little fun, we get a little cozy, we make a little art. Very fun, very cool, and you don't have to worry about figuring out what the heck you want to draw. No need to stall. I got you on the prompt. Only thing you need to bring is your digital art system that you like to use. I prefer to use Procreate, and a little bit of creativity. That's it. So this week's episode, we will be working on a Fall Fairy Hideout, something cool, cute, and fun. I have here for our prompt a very empty, open stump, a cut down stump, which I think is a perfect place that a fairy would live. You know, why wouldn't they? It's vacated, no one's living there, you know. It's theirs for the taking. So now it's up to you and me to figure out what the fairies are doing in this stump. Are they enjoying a mug of tea? Are they sleeping through the night? Or are they having a freaking rager? Let's get into the art. Alright guys, so first I'm starting off by showing you guys how I actually drew the stump itself. I like to sometimes include me drawing the prompts just so you guys can just see how I just whip them out and how I do them. Just if you're interested, if you're, curious about that, I just want to include it. But I've made it very simple. I like to do them, pretty open so you have a lot of creative freedom. And I went ahead and got started on my scene. So I decided to go with the rager, the party. Well, it's not really a rager. They're like a little fairy disco, a little disco party situation. I've got a little dance floor going. I've got some light strings that I hung up that I'll add in some lights in a little bit. This one was pretty quick and pretty easy. That's kind of my MO. If you don't know, I like to keep things nice and simple. That helps me to keep me going. That helps to keep me consistent, because I find that when I take too much time and something is very intricate, that leads to a decline in my probability of actually finishing the piece. So I like to keep things simple, fresh, easy. What are some other adjectives I could use? Pretty flat as well. I like to keep things flat. That's just my personal choice. But I did decide to make it a little bit darker here. I think I did end up making it even darker. You'll see in a little bit, because my iPad brightness was just kind of low, so I didn't realize that it wasn't as dark as I thought it was. And then I started coloring the dance floor. That was fun. I had a lot of fun making like a little random color pattern. It wasn't a pattern at all. It was just like randomly putting them on there. And I gave them a little glow because the dance floor would be glowing, obviously. And this here is me installing the fairy lights. You guys have to let me know down below what you think is going on in this party. Like, what's the vibes? I feel like this kind of like, it's a disco, but kind of giving me like speakeasy vibes, like grown and sexy kind of vibes. Why? I don't know. That's just what I'm getting from this story that I've created in my mind. I did add a little bit more tree detailing in the inside there and on the ground, on the floor. And obviously there's a fairy DJ. And a couple people sitting at the tables enjoying a little drink. And then I drew a couple fairies just at the party, dancing, doing their thing. Some of them were just standing around, hanging out. I'd say this was probably early in the night, so it's not as bustling, it's not as hustling as it's gonna be. This is just the very beginning of the night, okay? It's very calm, it's very, like I said, grown, sexy vibes, not too much, not all that rah-rah. Very much, they're drinking wine, they're drinking Prosecco, maybe a little rosé, grown vibes. if you can't tell, I've actually never been to a speakeasy myself, so I have no idea what the vibes are there. I'm guessing, I'm feeling like these would be the vibes, you know? They would be very mature vibes, right? Let me know down below if you've ever been to a speakeasy, and tell me if my thoughts and ideas of one, if they're correct with the actual vibes. You also have to let me know what city, because that also might differ from city to city. Just let me know if I'm right or if I'm wrong, okay? And here we have it. Like I said, she was done very quickly, very smoothly, very easily. It just took me a couple of hours to do this, and honestly, it only took that long because I was stopping a lot and just coming back to it. Sometimes I don't just sit down straight and draw. Sometimes I get distracted. You know, I do. I'm a human, but I love to, you know, get a little cozy, have a little tea, and make a little bit of art. And I hope you guys can give yourself the time and the space to also just make a little something for this week, for today, you know, get those creative juices flowing. And as always, you can find this prompt in the link down below, or you can check out the playlist if you guys are interested in looking for different prompts. You know, if you want more prompts, they're there. I've made them. This is like episode, I don't know, but I don't know what episode this is, but there's that many episodes that I don't even know the number anymore. But I have plenty for you to browse through, to peruse through. You can look at my videos to see the prompt, as well as how I decided to interpret said prompt. I hope you guys have a wonderful week this week. I hope I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.